Let's actually then turn to our top story, because vandalism, violence, clashes all through this afternoon. The heart of the national capital saw clashes between Kisans and Jawans or Delhi police, and that is what is the tragedy of this Republic Day. Let's take a look of how it all unfolded. India Today's correspondents tracked the protesters from the Ghazipur border to the Red Fort. This was the one journey where the entire tractor rally planned by the farmers turned horribly violent. Ankit Tyagi and Aishwarya Paliwal were there. They bring you a blow-by-blow account of what happened.
I just want to show you once again, because the farmers have started ahead of their time. Now they are trying to break the barricades at the Ghazipur border. You can see these farmers. In fact, on one hand, one tractor has been stopped by the police personnel. Okay, this is a full confrontation brewing here at the Ghazipur border, where the farmers are being stopped. The policeman standing right in front of this tractor and asking them to stop. And on the other side, you can see the barricades being broken by the farmers here. This is a very tense situation, ladies and gentlemen, where the barricades are being completely pushed and being broken by the farmers, saying that they have started their tractor rally and they will be going on to their route. I just want to show you that this is the route which goes towards ITO and Rajghat. The farmers are, in fact, now the tractors in front are breaking these concrete slabs which were kept by the Delhi police. I will show you that the tractors are continuously ramming them so that they can make their way through. What you can see are these farmers and the tractors on the other side ramming one by one all those concrete barricades which were put by the police. Okay, there is a lot of hooligan elements here, not letting us shoot, but I want to show you the tear gas shells are being lobbed here because they were trying to go towards India Gate. The police trying to stop them. Men with, clubs, extremely aggressive, extremely aggressive. This is the sixth tear gas shell which has been lobbed. It now looks like a confrontation which might just go out of hand. The police is now moving forward. It looks like we are going to see lathi charge just any moment. On the other side, all these protesters with clubs in their hands are also moving towards the police. It's an eyeball-to-eyeball confrontation right now. There is one gentleman who is trying to defuse the situation, and there it goes. Tear gas shells once again being lobbed by the police right deep into the farmers, those who are standing at the ITO intersection. One after another, 1, 2, 3 I can count, 3 more go there, and you'll see them dropping. There it goes, hits one protester on his stun grenades also being used, the police using all that they have at their disposal, one after another ITO to try. Comes in, another tractor comes in, they're using tractors as tanks right now. Ramming everything on their way. All right. It's a steel road. It was one of the dividers which has been broken by the farmers. It's a steel road that was hurled at me. Dinesh has been hit by a stone in his stomach. Now imagine, is this the kind of protest that was promised by the farmers? 60 days of being patient, 60 days of peace have been broken by these elements who have come in the last 3-4 days. They actually feel they are winning Delhi. You will hear Delhi ko fateh karne aaye hain. What are they going to liberate Delhi from? It's their own country on the Republic Day. This is what they are showing us. I have a very disturbing news. The tractor which was ramming, this tractor has in fact completely gone turtle. It's turned turtle, and And I think one protester, I can't confirm, but the allegation is that protester was died after somebody opened fire. We can't confirm that. That's the allegation, but I can show you that one man, one of the protester, has in fact passed away. That group of people that you see are claiming that a person has died and possibly was it was the same person that we saw near the tractor which has toppled. But at this moment, what we can tell you is at least the situation has been slightly under control. And we had to move behind the police lines, because now even a mic ID has become a trigger as far as the farmers are concerned. What you see behind me are few of the senior policemen, those who have gone there, trying to persuade these protesters to in fact move back. And if Mr. Tikait was in any way in control of this entire situation, he possibly should have been the one, because he, VM Singh and few others have been in charge of the Ghazipur contingent. This is the Ghazipur contingent which did not heed to their command of going on the pre-decided route. A strong message being sent by the farmers, but the lawlessness, the anarchy and the violence that we saw on the streets of Delhi, especially from where we were reporting earlier at ITO, will definitely raise a question: at what cost has this symbolic gesture of putting their flag on top of Republic Day has come for the farmers' movement, which was peaceful for the last couple of months. With camera person Dinesh Lal, Ankit Tyagi at the Red Fort for India Today.
Now there's a controversy which has also begun over the fact that one protester was dead during what happened at Delhi's ITO. Initially, the farmers who were with him claimed that he had been shot, but the Delhi police insist no bullets were fired, and in fact the protester died after his tractor tried to go through barricades and it overturned. Take a look.
Unprecedented chaos in the national capital. Repeated bids to bust barricades using tractors at high speed. In the melee that ensued near Delhi's ITO, one of the protesting farmers lost his life, apparently after his tractor overturned while he tried to ram a police barricade at full speed. The deceased was identified as 30-year-old Navneet Singh from Bajpur area of Uttarakhand. Protesters wrapped Navneet's body in national flag and staged a dharna at arterial ITO intersection, claiming that he was killed in police firing.
पुलिस कह रही है कि पत्थरबाजी हुई थी। पुलिस तो झूठी है एक नंबर की। जो पुलिस एक्सपायर आंसू गोले मार रही है उससे क्या किसी की डेथ नहीं हो सकती? तो उन्होंने आंसू के गोले क्यों मारे? क्या प्रोवोकेशन था?
वो दिल्ली में एंट्री करने नहीं देना चाहते, जबकि दिल्ली किसी की जागीर नहीं है।
मैं सुबह सिंघू बॉर्डर पे था, बड़ा शांति से पूरी हर चीज शांति से चल रही थी।
हम तो अपना खाना तक लेके नहीं आए, हम क्या पत्थर लेके आएंगे? हम ट्रैक्टर ड्राइव करेंगे, पत्थर मारेंगे।
The Delhi police released the CCTV images of the incident and clarified that no bullet was fired and called the death an accident due to high-speed driving. The cops were later seen extricating the body from the wreckage of the tractor.
उनकी तरफ से ये पूरा आश्वासन था कि ये चीज़ें सब सही चलेंगी। जो उग्र किसान थे, उन्होंने क्या किया? उन्होंने ट्रैक्टर से लोगों को, पुलिस वालों को, सुरक्षा बलों को कुचलने की कई जगह कोशिश की गई। बैरिकेड्स तोड़ दिए गए, जो हमारे बसेज थी, पुलिस की बसेज थी, उनको तोड़ दिया गया और इस तरीके से व्यापक पैमाने पर तोड़फोड़ की और नुकसान किया।
Over 60 policemen who suffered serious injuries in the mob attacks have been hospitalized. Bureau Report, India Today.
Let's turn to the big questions then today. Republic Day tractor march. Was it a recipe, as some are calling it, for anarchy? Have the farmers and the farm movement lost the people's trust and sympathy as a result? Has the violence discredited the entire farmers' stir? Is it right to blame the entire farmers' movement for the actions of a few? And was there an intel failure from the Delhi police as well? I'm joined by Yogendra Yadav, President Swaraj India, Gurpreet Singh, President Global Sikh Council, RP Singh, BJP spokesperson, Supriya Srinath of the Congress, VM Singh, convener All India Kisan Sangharsh Coordination Committee, Yashovardhan Azad, former IPS officer. Yogendra Yadav, why don't you answer the big question first? The manner in which these protests took place. You had promised me as last night also that there would be peaceful, entirely, this was going to be a celebration, you said, of Republic Day. Was this a celebration, what we saw, the kind of scenes, especially at the Red Fort and at the ITO area?
Rajdeep, we intended it to, and we designed it to be a celebration of Republic. We took all precautions that we possibly could. And yeah, Rajdeep, we intended it to be a celebration of Republic. We took all precautions that we possibly could. And at the end of this very, very special day, I feel disappointed and regretful. Disappointed because it did not turn out to be what we wanted it to be. Regretful because of the incident that happened at Lal Killa, also the one person that who died in all this. You cannot but feel deeply remorseful about something of this kind. I could say that both the incidents that have been reported of barricades being broken, barricades were being broken primarily by a group which has nothing to do with Sanghyukt Kisan Morcha. This is something called Mazdoor Kisan Sangharsh Samiti, which is beyond the pale, literally beyond the pale of Singhu border. They stay outside, they have nothing to do with us. And the police, intelligence, everyone knew that this group is uncontrollable, indisciplined. This is what they did. And in the case of the Red Fort incident, Mr. Deep Sidhu, everyone knows who he is. And farmers' movement for the last 4 months have kept him at bay. He is a persona non grata for us. And because of his kind of leanings, he was incidentally also BJP's election agent in the previous election for for BJP's MP.
Sunny Deol.
But at the same time, the fact is that this happened in a movement that we had organized. Sunny Deol, that's right. Yeah, I just forgot the name, Sunny Deol. The fact is that this happened in a movement that we had given a call for. And even if it was sabotage, we cannot escape the responsibility for allowing someone to do this sabotage. I also think that this is also a moment, this is almost like a Capitol Hill moment in the US. Someone can march into Red Fort where you have army and hoist any kind of flag they want. That's another question that we should think about. We should also think of a deeper question. You have these farmers for 2 months here. Yes, they've been very patient. Yes, they've been very peaceful. But at the end of it, frustration builds in. And how do you control a frustration of this kind with a government which is not at all serious about responding to what the farmers are demanding for the last 2 months? These are bigger questions, but not to escape our responsibility at all.
Mr. Yadav, I'm listening. Mr. Yadav, I'm listening to you patiently, but I'm afraid that many people out there will run out of patience, particularly when they see the images that they see today. They will say this was a recipe in a way for this kind of violence, because you know you say that you want to bring in as many farmers as part of this tractor march. You have no control over it. Today you are saying these are some outside groups which you knew would be uncontrollable. There is Deep Sidhu, who you are blaming for what happened at the Red Fort. This is inexcusable. With due regard, Mr. Yadav, and I have a lot of regard for you, this is inexcusable, because what you have done as a result is in a way damaged, some would say, the credibility of the entire movement, and your claim against the farm laws will now be weighed against what we've seen today. Violence is unacceptable.
Rajdeep, we have always said violence is unacceptable. Not just that, we have said peace is our biggest strength. And indeed, what has happened today would damage us, would hurt us. And that's why we need to think, we need to introspect. I just wanted to bring attention to the fact that this was done by two groups which have been identified. So I'm not conjuring them up this evening. Even yesterday, everyone knew about both these situations, which could not be controlled. And I'm simply saying the larger question still remains, and that's something we need to think about. Here are about lakh farmers sitting in Delhi for 2 months, patiently waiting and waiting and waiting. I'm saying all this because people like us have to answer this question to young people every day. I had to do it in my own parade. I was part of the Shahjahanpur parade today, which passed off completely peacefully. But I had to answer hundreds of young people. How long are you going to do it? 2 months, you've been waiting. The government doesn't want to respond. Let's march to Delhi. We'll do something. The government is, I'm afraid, creating a situation where those who want peace and moderation are being pressurized from all sides.
I'll come back in a moment, but I want to get the farmers' perspective first, because y'all are today, farm leaders are clearly in the dock in a way. VM Singh, you're a convener of All India Kisan Sangharsh Samiti, and you were supposedly among those, correct me if I'm wrong, who was going to be responsible for the groups coming in from Ghazipur, and that's where the violence began. Okay, I want to also bring in at this moment RP Singh, BJP spokesperson. RP Singh, you're hearing Yogendra Yadav suggesting that the farmers are running out of patience. I know that can be no excuse for violence. Violence is inexcusable. But do you believe that maybe this could have been resolved without this kind of confrontation? It's been going on, simmering for 2 months, more than 2.5 months. Something was going to give, and it gave today. What happened today is unacceptable. But could the government have handled this entire situation better, Mr. RP Singh?
Well, Rajdeep, before I tell what government should have done and how government should have done, but let me start with two things today, which has saddened me today. One is what has happened at Red Fort, and what you have done today at IQ. When you said a boy has been killed by a bullet injury, whereas you never have proof, you are the one who created frenzy at IQ, which led to what happened at Red Fort today. I'm blaming you today for this.
No, 1 minute. No, I didn't. Let me correct you. Let me correct you, sir. The farm protesters there claimed. It was claimed by them. There were others. You can read the report. I was one.
Your video created a frenzy among farmers.
Sir.
Your video.
Because they claim. That's a claim. That's a claim that the farm protesters made. The farm protesters had no friend. This was after the incident.
Don't run away. Rajdeep, don't run away. Please replay that video where you are saying that boy has been killed by a...
I am not running away, sir. In a dynamic... Sir, I was chased out from there by the farmers. I hope you know that. I hope you know that I was chased out from there by the farmers.
People like you and Yogendra Yadav were responsible for what happened today.
Sir, there were versions...
on your face. Let me tell you on your face what happened at IQ, and thereafter you are responsible because you spent that frenzy there.
Okay.
You spent that frenzy, and then you have created a problem.
Sir, there was no. Sir, I came there after. I came there after the violence. Please do not spread misinformation.
No information.
I will not allow you to spread misinformation, sir. I will not. I take responsibility. I was wrong. I was wrong in taking their word for face value. 1 minute, sir.
Sir,
there are three. I was wrong in taking. I was wrong in taking the words of the farmers at face value. Okay. Now you want to answer the question or not?
You must apologize. Otherwise, I'm going to file a case against you on this. Be prepared for
I have already said that it was wrong on my part to take the farmer's version without the police version. I have no problem.
No.
I have said it was wrong to take the farmer's version without the police version.
Beyond that, frenzy. You created a frenzy, and which led that farmer might go to Red Fort. You know
nothing.
That?
There was no frenzy. The frenzy happened much earlier.
Frenzy because of you.
Mr. Singh, I'm going to move on. I'm going to move on if you're not going to answer my question.
You are a leading
okay. You've come here. That's not true. That's not true at all. Sir, please do not. Please. I am willing to accept my mistakes, but you cannot spread lies. Just as I.
No, you lifelong you will have to bear this blot on your face.
Okay.
You have to bear this blot on your conscience lifelong.
Okay.
Because you are the one who created that frenzy
fine.
today.
Now do you want to answer the question? So you don't want to answer the question? I can move on. I'll move on to the other guests. You don't want to answer my question. That's okay.
No, I'll answer that question.
No, you don't want to answer my question. It's clear.
No, I want to. Who said I don't want to answer that question?
Please do.
Don't run away. I'm answering that question. Don't run away. Prepare to bear the things when it comes.
Okay, please do.
Sir,
okay,
Yugandhar Yadav ji just now said Deep Sidhu is the Rivasi agent
that's
of
okay, sir.
Sunny Deol. Okay,
that's okay.
Can I? Can I? Mr. Yugandhar Yadav.
Yeah, please respond.
Okay, thank you. Yugandhar Yadav was playing as a cover-up for all like Deep Sidhus and Sidhanas. Some guy named, his full name is Kamal Sidhana. He was playing as a cover-up for them when he was talking to police and saying that I take responsibility, we take responsibility, everything was peaceful, whereas they knew what's going to happen today. Because what happened therefore yesterday at Singhu border, Mr. Yugandhar Yadav was there present and he addressed a public meeting, and thereafter when two Congress MPs, Navneet Bittu and Ojala went there, they were virtually not only heckled, they virtually escaped their life. They would have been killed by protesters and by radicals. And
sir,
Sir, I'm telling you what happened today. You should know that because you can't have your perspective.
I want to ask you.
And let me. Deep Sidhu was never an agent of Sunny Deol.
Okay.
It was Kamal Sharma who was the agent of Sunny Deol, who was the former president of the Punjab BJP, not Deep Sidhu. So don't stop
Deep Sidhu,
falsehood.
you're saying Deep Sidhu has nothing to do with the BJP. You're saying
Nothing
Deep Sidhu has nothing to do with the BJP.
Nothing
the BJP
to do.
cannot be blamed for his actions. Am I correct?
What he has to do, he has to do with Yugandhar Yadav and his former unions. Because he has been there, he has been coming there.
Okay,
regularly.
Let me come to Gurpreet Singh. Gurpreet Singh, you are president. Just a minute, sir. Now, let me move on. Gurpreet Singh, you are the president of the Global Sikh Council. What happened today, particularly the manner in which some groups went to the Red Fort, put up the flag of the Nishan Sahib on the Red Fort. The tricolour was still there, but to enter on Republic Day and desecrate Red Fort, what does this do to the Sikh community, the Sikh identity? This surely is not what a farmers' movement is about, sir.
Exactly. I'm not getting into the Sikh identity, but yes, it is definitely not in sync with what this farmers' agitation is all about. I think if anybody has been to the border before, as I have, you would have found that it was the most peaceful and disciplined agitation that was taking place there. Now, there are certain questions, like Mr. Yadav has said, which need to be answered to everybody. There should be a post-mortem. Number one was that we all know that these rallies were allowed to happen after the Republic Day parade at Rajpath was over, which meant about 11 o'clock. So that was what was there. How come these people who entered Delhi at about 8 o'clock, as per what Mr. Darshan Pal has said earlier in one of the interviews I was watching, they were allowed to enter Delhi? I'm looking at it from the purely administrative point of view. The Delhi police should have stopped these people, because that was also part of their protocol, part of their agreement, that they would only come into Delhi after a particular time. Why were these people allowed to come into Delhi before that and then to march on to? So questions are being asked. We know for a fact that this is the most purest agitation that has taken place. It is the most disciplined, most peaceful agitation that has taken place up to now. What has happened at Red Fort is highly condemnable. We condemn it, no doubt. But who's done it, how it happened, I think these questions need to be answered, to be asked, and and proper investigation needs to be done into that. So of course, coming down to the likes of Deep Sidhu and Sadhana and all these guys.
Let me bring in. You make a fair point that there needs to be a fair investigation into what exactly happened, the sequence of events. Yashovardhan Azad, as a former police officer, you heard there, could the police have done more? What we saw was the police was showing exemplary restraint. 80 policemen of the Delhi police are injured today, many of them when the barricades were being broken. Do you think the police could have anticipated possibly the fact that allowing so many tractors to come into Delhi was a recipe for disaster?
Let me give you a quick few points on the police action. First, there are clear intelligence report that in a gathering of this kind, it will be uncontrolled, and despite the leaders' protestations that they would be responsible, it is not possible to have a tractor rally in a metro. The place for a tractor is in rural areas and not in big cities. And therefore, there were intelligence reports that there will be violence by some groups. If I was the police commissioner, I would have never allowed this rally and said very clearly, you can choose any other day, but on 26th of January. Mind you, Rajdeep, being involved with these 26th January celebrations for over a decade, I can say that down to the last man, all the resources are stretched of the police so much, also the intelligence bureau officials, that it is not possible to have any other bandobast. So, if obviously the order came from the top to allow the farmers to have a tractors rally on 26 January, which means that they were perhaps, acceptable to collateral damage. My second point is that the visuals on the TV were emotionally disturbing, that on a day like this, on Republic Day, you have the flag flying, which is not a national flag. A lot of people were disturbed and they rang up. Let me tell you also another thing, that one really felt that for the first time, democracy was really bruised and deeply scarred. It was a mobocracy, and what was happening on the streets was something unimaginable. Now, the kind of reactions which are coming from the Kisan leaders are absolutely along, accepted lines. That it was not their fault, there were other people who got involved. This happens in all the protests. But all the other stakeholders of democracy are equally responsible. The opposition, for example, now it may condemn violence, but they never made a call even once to the Kisan leaders or tell them, why don't you have this rally on some other day? Why choose 26? Because the whole choice of 26 itself was suspect. It was wrong on the part of the central government to allow this on the 26th. It was wrong on the part of DKU leaders or other Kisan leaders or self-styled leaders to allow this on 26th, and also on the opposition who did not give a call to resolve this issue. Therefore, I blame everyone.
Let me take that to the opposition. Mr. Azad, let me take what you're saying to the opposition. Supriya Srinath, the opposition is blaming the government, saying the government should have controlled the situation. The fact is, as Mr. Azad said, did the opposition ever really make an appeal to the Kisan leaders? Don't have this tractor rally on 26th of January. The dangers are it could spiral out of control. Or is the opposition simply out to embarrass the Narendra Modi government come what may? So that's the charge which will be made against the opposition, that you too could have made an appeal for peace.
If things weren't as unfortunate as they turned out to be, I'd find this a very amusing argument. I mean, what sort of an argument this is? Firstly, before I say anything, there is no place for violence and vandalism in any democracy. Secondly, the BJP cannot say Deep Sidhu is nobody. Here is a picture of Deep Sidhu with none other than the Prime Minister of India, shot at his residence. This is 7 RCR where this picture has been shot, along with Sunny Deol. So please do not wash your backs off Deep Sidhu. He was shot with the Prime Minister. He is known to the BJP. Please don't shout, sir. I did not speak when you were selected. A
lot of people.
Okay. Please, Mr. Singh, show some restraint on a day like today.
RP Singh, not everybody enters 7 Racecourse Road, but go ahead.
Sir, Rajdeep, you also have been to Racecourse for many places.
Go ahead now.
Mr. And you are equally responsible for
No, please. No, RP Singh, you must let us speak. RP Singh, you must let us speak. RP Singh, you must let us speak.
You are equally responsible.
You must let us speak. You must let us speak. You're shouting, please switch off his volume, let us speak.
The second and the third most important thing that I want to say is, we condemn it. This should not have happened. But the reality also, Rajdeep, is when a crowd like this enters, what sort of bandobast was made? And Mr. Narendra Singh Tomar's statements keep coming to my mind when he said any sort of violence will be blamed on the farmers alone. Did he have a sixth sense? Did he have any prior knowledge? Why was it not reported to the agencies? Or are they miscreants who are trying to demean and demonize the farmers? There is a very, very important question. I also am questioning the selective outrage. Yes, there were a lot of...
No, we have no evidence of that. No, Supriya Srinath, there's no evidence as of now. There's no evidence of a wider conspiracy as of now. As of now, there is no evidence. This is speculation. My point is, can the opposition also have played a more responsible role? You are also goading the Kisans into this confrontation.
I wonder why he said that. The last thing that I want to say before I throw it open to others is that, you know, it has been said they ran out of patience. What was the government trying to do for the last 61 days? I mean, the Prime Minister has not even chosen to speak to these people. Were you trying to tire and retire them? 70 people have died, and I have not seen this kind of outrage in media that I'm seeing today. 70 farmers are dead. Where was the selective outrage? And to the BJP spokesperson, I would like to ask a question. You have outrage over a rumor that did the round about a bullet being fired. Why did you not have the same outrage when a rumor did the round that the national flag was taken off the Red Fort? Thank God, and I believe there is only and only one flag this country should respect, and that is the tricolor. There is no place for any other flag on the Red Fort. But the reality is there was a rumor that said that flag has been slashed as well. वो flag तो हटा नहीं था. उससे आपको कोई दिक्कत नहीं है क्योंकि वो आपकी तरफ से काम करता है. तो आरपी सिंह जी जो सेलेक्टिव आउटरीच आप दिखा रहे हैं, ये आपकी गवर्नमेंट का फेलियर भी है. अगर इंटेलिजेंस रिपोर्ट्स थी तो कार्रवाई क्यों नहीं करी गई? इसका जवाब आपको भी देना पड़ेगा. It is all right to come in TV studios, shout at anchors, shout at fellow guests, but the responsibility also rests at your doorstep. Stop questioning the opposition for everything. Remember, you are in government and you've been there for the last 7 years.
Let me bring in Yogendra Yadav again if he's still with us. Yogendra Yadav, you are listening to these loud noises being made. Is there embarrassment today to the extent that you could call off this agitation? Remember, we can go back in time. Whenever agitation spiral out of control, Mahatma Gandhi would say, that's it. We're not, if violence takes place, and Chauri Chaura, of course, is the best example of it. I'm not likening this to what happened in the 1920s, but I want to understand, is there a sense that you now need to call off the agitation and find other ways in which to put pressure on the government?
Rajdeep, embarrassment, yes, but it's about scale. Chauri Chaura, you know what actually happened in Chauri Chaura. The scale was different. What we did today was that by 6 o'clock, we actually called off the parade. As you know, not even half the tractors had entered the parade by then, and we had initially estimated that this would go on and on, probably through the night, probably tomorrow morning as well. But at 6 o'clock in the evening, we said no. This is not what we wanted. We've called it off. Sanyukt Kisan Morcha gave a call around 6 o'clock to say we are calling it off and requesting everyone, even if you were not able to start, please go back to where you were. So that's the responsibility that we have taken. On the future course, I think this is a lesson learned, and we now need to think. I don't need to anticipate what we would do because it's a collective decision making where we all sit down and think about whether the sabotage could have been avoided, whether we could have acted in ways which are different. These are questions for us to think about. But the larger issue of what the farmers are facing is an issue that does not disappear because of what happened today. The IPS officer who spoke before me very nicely laid out lots of things. What he forgot to mention was that here is a government. For 2 months, we tried everything in the book. We did notional protest, we did relay hunger fast, we did protest in national state capitals, we did all the things that you would write in the book. And that is at the end of it we had given a call for this tractor march. This is not the first thing we did. For 60 days people are sitting here. Would you not even list that as one of the things that one needs to think about? How long can you ask people to just sit and wait and not respond to the elementary basic demand that they are raising? That's a question we should also face.
RP Singh, do you think it is possible that maybe someone from the government also can now reach out to the farmers in a more meaningful way, perhaps, rather than just an official dialogue in a government building? Maybe go and meet the farmers. Maybe is there a possibility, you think, to break the ice? Because the longer this continues, the more it becomes a security concern. Do you agree with the opposition which says that the government has not done enough, even though several farmers have died in this winter? They've died in the winter freeze. Nobody speaks about them. Nobody talks about them. Do you think the government can reach out to the farmers or not?
Rajdeep, this government did its best by reaching out to farmers 11 times, and then many by the back door also, back channels also, and then we tried our best and we gave the best option to the farmers, and we accepted probably all of the demands also for regard ensuring that MSP will stay, ensuring that no land will be taken of the farmer, ensuring that they can go to the higher court with a fast track court, ensuring that the new mandis can be levied taxes equivalent to the old mandis also, and also saying that, okay, even then if you don't accept, let's defer it for 18 months. And then let's keep the dialogue on. But people like Yugendra Yadav,
so the human touch,
because they have
the human touch is missing. The human touch.
Sir, please give me a second, sir. Mr. If you heard Mr. Tomar, can I complete? I never interrupted. If you heard Mr. Tomar, the way he has been speaking, so politely, so humbly, requesting with folded hands.
Oh my God, really? With all the humility,
what
he said,
else?
my way or the highway?
Ma'am, please, we didn't do what you did at Ramlila.
Oh my God, I love how you said please.
You wanted us to do what you did at Ramlila Madan, and you at middle of the night, you smashed people and head of the woman. Don't give me that what you did at Ramlila Madan. So let's not get to that.
What are you talking about? At least we let people protest at Ramlila Madan. Mr.
Ma'am, you smashed the head of the people. You smashed the people at midnight. You should not forget that. You the one who smashed the people at midnight. Don't give me all that.
70 people have died. You should be ashamed.
That's the problem with Rajdeep. He will allow the Congress spokesperson to speak other and mute me. Whereas when I speak, you can mute me. I mean, you allow her to speak.
No, 1 minute. No, both of you should. No. It's not about. Sir, today is not a day. Sir, today is not a day of Congress versus BJP.
No, it is a day. It is a day because
sir, the leader said, you can attack me today. You can do what you want. That's your.
And went to Milan.
Okay.
So,
Bade chalo.
Allow me to complete.
Who's saying Bade chalo?
Yes,
anyway, 1 minute.
Sir,
I just.
Sir, Twitter. He posted a Twitter saying Bade chalo.
Please complete.
And he went to Milan. So you say it's not Congress. It's Congress which is behind us. And
what sort of arguments are you making, Mr. Singh?
I'll tell you. Sir, today there's a Kisan leader on your channel itself who said 5 lakh tractors came. Even if you have to bring a tractor here and take it back, it costs you 10,000 rupees for diesel. 5 lakh into 10,000 means 500 crore rupees. Let us know.
Okay, so there are conspiracy theories about.
RP says, you know what? You sound like somebody who's lost his mind.
So you're saying this protest, 1 minute, it's very interesting. Please, 1 minute. The BJP claims these protests are being sponsored. Just a minute, sir. Put the faders down. Okay, the BJP says this entire protest has been organized by the Congress. The Congress says that the BJP or elements perhaps close to the BJP wanted to organize chaos so that the entire movement would get discredited in a way. I want to ask you, Gurpreet Singh, do you think the movement will be discredited, especially in Punjab, as a result of what has happened?
Definitely not in the Punjab. I think it is now very imperative for the Sanyukt Kisan Morcha to come ahead, and they have already made, they have voiced their anger at what happened at Red Fort, and I think they need to now again regroup, and in the proper fashion like they did earlier, peaceful and disciplined fashion, they need to continue this morcha. We from the Global Sikh Council have already made a statement about 6-7 weeks ago, where we have said that these laws are in any case unconstitutional. Agriculture is a state subject. Let the states handle agriculture as they feel fit for their people in their respective states. Like Kerala has done now, they've passed 16 laws for MSP for 16 crops out there. Let every state pass their own agriculture laws. It is a state subject. You have transgressed your right over the federal system of this country, the central government, in passing these laws. I think they are totally unconstitutional and should be repealed, hence immediately. And let the state governments handle agriculture as they deem fit.
I take your point. I take your point. You're calling for a legal. You're calling for a legal constitutional solution. Let me then, in conclusion, come to you, Yashovardhan Azad, for a law and order solution possibly. I just want to ask you in conclusion. One side is claiming that, you know, there is a claim being made by one side of a conspiracy, and the other side claims that this was a campaign to discredit the movement. Yogendra Yadav, in conclusion, is this going to discredit your movement? Do you believe that it is possible that your credibility will be restored? Because people will have lost sympathy to see today, in a way, flags being put up by Sikh groups at Red Fort, to see what happened at ITO. Do you believe that you all have lost sympathy? Credibility is under question.
Rajdeep, this is certainly not a debate or any of us wanted to have on the Republic Day. That is tragic. It would be even more tragic if we allow this debate and controversy and the incidents of today to drown one of the biggest questions this country has faced, namely the plight of the farmers. And I would just urge your viewers and everyone, you have every reason to be annoyed and angry to see these visuals. Maybe you have reasons to be angry with people like me as well. But please do not allow this to make you angry with the farmer. Their plight really deserves some response from the government, which hasn't happened. So let us not allow what happened today. We must find out the reasons. We must fix responsibilities. People must take the onus. But this should not become an occasion for us to turn a blind eye to what is happening to the farmers. That's my only plea today on Republic Day.
Okay. I think that's a sobering note to end on what has been a very, very troubling day. A day where, as I said, we want to celebrate Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, but sadly found a situation where there was a conflict between the Kisan and the Jawan. And remember, many of our Jawans are sons of Kisans. The last thing that we want is anyone to hijack a movement with violence, which is completely unacceptable. It's time perhaps to find a solution that goes beyond the streets, a solution that perhaps can be amicable in the true constitutional spirit that we are celebrating on this Republic Day. Thank you very much, Yogendra Yadav, a rather angry RP Singh. I appreciate you joining us, Supriya Srinath, Mr. Gurpreet Singh, as well as Yashovardhan Azad. Thank you very much. Let's take a break at this point. When we return, our special on Republic Day parade will bring you the best of that. That's back in a moment.